Hey guys, Biscuit here. I'm going to show you how I counter bugs with bounty hunters. This guide is meant for early game players who don't have access to Trey or Scion, and you also don't have your other counters such as Empire built up. So it's just a way for you to get by. The team I personally use for this is Django, Boba, Dengar, and Bosk. Boba's real easy to get. You get him straight from the Cantina store. Dengar comes straight out of the guild store. And Django and Bosk, they are hard nodes, but they're hard nodes that you need to do. Houndstooth is just simply amazing, and it's on the same node as Django Fett, and the pilot is Bosk. Just farm it now, you'll thank me later, it'll help you so much in fleets. Now here's the general strategy. We want to get contract up as quickly as we can. Django's contract is to damage a debuffed enemy 20 times. That's pretty easy, especially with all the AoEs bounty hunters have. But there's some stuff in his kit that makes it a bit easier. For instance, all enemies have minus 40% tenacity. This makes it easier to land debuffs, and all scoundrel allies have 30 speed. Since all bounty hunters are scoundrels, they're all going to get 30 speed, and this will make it easier to go ahead of the Geos. Now this is the team and why we need them. So we need Django for his leadership, duh, but he's also just a good character to have because he has an AoE that debuffs people, and he does big damage with the Shrapnel Blast. Boba, he's also very, very good because he has an AoE, and his AoE inflicts ability block on the entire team. He does big damage with his Execute. We need him. Dengar, he's a really great support character. He has an AoE, and his AoE is even better than Bosk's, Boba's and Django's because it hits 8 times. He has a call to assist on his basic, and he stuns people with his second special. Bosk is a must-have. He has a mass assist, and he's the only bounty hunter who's a tank. So you need him. In terms of who else you can put in this team, I only gave you 4 characters, but here's who your 5th can be. I'm personally going to be using Cad Bane just because I have him. He comes straight out of Galactic War, so he's real easy to farm. He has a double tap on his basic, but he's squishy. Greef Karga and Mando, they're both really great characters to have, but I'm not going to be using them in this guide in particular just because they are a bitch to farm. Greef Karga's on stage 4 of fleets, and Mando's on stage 5 of fleets. You're not going to have these guys farmable super early on as a free-to-play, so that's why they're not in here. But they are, if you have them, use them. Greef has a mass assist and a mass cleanse. That's very helpful because you want to get that contract up, and Geos inflict a lot of debuffs. Mando's also amazing just because he has a call to assist, so you get the contract quicker, and he has a disintegrate once you do get the contract up. IG-88 is realistically your other option. He is really easy to farm. He comes straight out of the Squad Arena store. He has an AoE as his special, but just like Cad Bane, he's squishy, and here's a little secret. Outside of this team, he kind of sucks, so you really don't want to be farming him, but he's there if you don't like Cad Bane. And the best part is, you don't need Zetas. I personally have 2 Zetas on Bosk, but one's for the leadership, which we aren't using, and the other one's for his unique, which it's not needed at all. In terms of the gear and mods, I recommend that you have Django and Bosk at gear 11 plus. This is because I don't have them at gear 12 like Boba, because realistically you're not going to have them 7 stars. I have Boba at gear 12. You can take him higher, he'll do more damage with his Execute. And with Dengar, I have him at gear 8. Dengar's a support, he doesn't do any damage, so you don't need him to be super high gear. Now, in terms of modding, Django and Boba, they're both damage dealers, so I mod them the same way. Crit damage, crit chance. And with a crit damage triangle. But because they do have like the AoEs that inflict debuffs, I do have the potency cross on there. For Bosk, I have him modded with a speed set and a defense set. I want Bosk to be going fast, because that's how you want him for almost every other counter, including this one. And I have him modded with a defense set. You could go with a tenacity set, but I personally don't because I don't face any Jedi training rays. That's beside the point. I have Dengar modded for 3 crit chance sets and a crit chance triangle. This is because his AoE gives him stuff based on how many times you crit. So you want him critting as much as you can. Besides that, you don't really need much on him besides some speed. And for the battles, the big thing you want to look for, you want to make sure that your bounty hunters are going before GBA and Poggle. And this first battle here, you start these all off the same. You use the Tauntaun Bosk, you use the Flamethrower ability on Django, you use the Mass Assist with Bosk on whoever you can. And the big thing is, if you don't hit the ability block on Poggle with Boba, you've lost. That's just how the counter works, I'm sorry, but once you get Contract, you can one-shot GBA, and then the rest of the team falls apart. So I'm not going to show the rest of this. My next battle was up against a team that had the Zeta that summons the Brute. So you still want to start this off the same way. Use the Flamethrower on GBA, and you want to call the assist on the Brute. If you don't have a debuff on the Brute, don't use the Mass Assist. Just an FYI. Here I use the AoE with Dengar, and we fall a bit short of getting the contract, and they end up killing Boba here. And now we can double tap with Django to get the contract done, and we just need it to come back around to Django so he can one-shot GBA. Here I should have used the stun on Poggle, and he's going to ability block Django now, which kind of sucks. We are able to kill GBA there, thankfully. And now the team's done, so we're moving on to the next video. This one, I am going to show the whole thing because it does go downhill a bit. And they actually have both Zetas in this case, so it's a bit harder. But we still want to start this off the same way. And here I do the double tap just so I can get the contract up faster. And we thankfully land both ability blocks. If we hadn't landed those, this would have been game over because GBA or Poggle would have dispelled all the buffs. Here we get the contract up, and now we can start working on the Brute Alpha. Django thankfully gets a Shrapnel Blast, and that kills the Brute. And now I'm going to leave the rest of this just because it's a tough one. We want to be focusing on the people who have the highest turn meter, just because I don't want to be taking more damage than I need to. And there I got yoinked by Spy. That does happen, and it's something that you need to be aware of. Spy does huge damage, and he can just one-shot a character like that. But we are able to get the win. So now on to the gear I actually did use for this. These are the 5 bounty hunters I used, and this is how I have them modded. I have Bosk pretty fast at 264 speed, and I'm only showing potency and crit chance because you know if they're going to have a crit damage triangle or not, so I don't need to show it. Yeah, if this isn't like super amazing gear, so this is something that you can shoot for early game if you are struggling with Geos in your Grand Arena, in your Squad Arena, or if you just have this team already just from chasing Chewbacca, you can use this to kill some bugs in Territory War. Thank you for watching. I'm Biscuit. If you like this type of video, please let me know. This was more for my guildmates, so we wouldn't get our ass handed to us in Territory Wars, but I'm sure a lot of you guys can also learn from this. So if you want to see more videos like this, hit the like button. If you want to support the channel, hit the subscribe button. I'm Biscuit, and I'm out.